Rolling through the streets of Glendale, Arizona, doing a little drive, talking, ain't telling no lies. Smash with you right here. Just talking some music, you know, just like you're talking with your friends. Golly, Blue-Eyed Soul. Remember Blue-Eyed Soul? Anybody that's my demographic? Maybe a little bit younger, definitely a little bit older. Blue-Eyed Soul were white guys who were singing black music, soul music. Blue-Eyed Soul, because blue eyes meant you were a white guy for the most part, all right, at least in that day. So Blue-Eyed Soul is what it was called. And of course, when you think Blue-Eyed Soul, anybody that thinks Blue-Eyed Soul is thinking, you never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like we've heard in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it. And then, that was Bill Medley. And then Bobby Hatfield, his partner, would come in, and he hit, baby, goes baby, baby. And then they would harmonize like nobody could harmonize. It was magnificent. You lost that loving feeling, oh, that loving feeling. You lost that loving feeling, now it's go. And then everybody went, because the song went, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, the memories. Memories are made of this, sweet, sweet, the memories you gave to me. There was the Walker Brothers also. The Walker Brothers came out of England. They were part of the British invasion. I'm thinking about Blue-Eyed Soul guys, man. Y'all always got to think of Mitch Ryder. Devil with the blue dress, blue dress, blue dress, devil with the blue dress on. Devil with the blue dress, blue dress, blue dress, devil with the blue dress on. And then the beauty of the thought of this song was that they took a song, they took a story that we grew up with as kids, Jack and the Beanstalk, when the giant talked to Jack. Mitch Ryder threw that into the song, so you hooked young America with the music and the language of the song. Because at that point in time, the song went, fee, fee, fi, fi, fo, fo, fum. And what happened in Jack and the Beanstalk? The giant asked Jack, fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. And thus, when you combine something you grew up with and apply it to something that is now, what you have is not only a hereditary situation, but you also have a futuristic situation that allows you to be more than just you, but allows you to be everything you need to be to anybody you want to be. With that in mind, Mitch Ryder, I'll never forget, oh man, it's for a different day, but our old keyboard player from Pure Funk and Roadmaster, Mike Reed, we called him Bone. Called him Bone because the guy could eat anything. He was my college roommate. He could eat anything, he never gained a pound. So I always called him Bone. But never, he was the keyboard player for Mitch Ryder for the long. James and Bobby Purify, Shake a Tail Feather. Well, Shake a Tail Feather back then meant let's dance. You know, a lot of people think Shake a Tail Feather means, you know, twerking like Beyonce might do it nowadays. That's shaking a tail feather. But it's shaking it in a fashion that more or less is magnetic, as opposed to the actuality of shaking the tail feather, which is not necessarily anti-magnetic, but at the same time, there is a different level of attraction to the magnetism depending on which sort of shaking of the tail feather you happen to be dealing with. And then, of course, all these Blue-Eyed Soul guys led to, I'd have to say, one of the just most phenomenal bands in the history of Blue-Eyed Soul bands, and that was the Average White Band. And these guys were white guys. They, I think they had a black guy on drummer. Ferrone was his name, or Ferroni, something. I got to tell you what, these guys were the baddest. And we, Roadmaster, that was our band at the time, got to open up for these guys in South Bend, Indiana. Now, we at that time were playing rock and roll music. Big difference between rock and roll music and Blue-Eyed Soul music. One of the things about the Average White Band, because they'd be doing work, 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 work. I tell you what, their work song that they had was magnificent, but everybody remembers, as far as their big songs are concerned, I'm watching my drive in here, don't worry about me. And that's the main thing. Whenever you're doing any drive talking, always watch you driving. They had a song, cut the cake. Give me a little piece. Let me lick up cream. Cut the cake. Give me a little piece. Baby, you know what I mean. Average White Band. We opened up for them. In South Bend, rock and roll band opening up for a blue-eyed soul band. Black crowd for the most part. Well, as you can imagine, we were not, shall we say, heralded to any major extent because they wanted to hear Average White Band, but they were polite to us. They were polite to us and accepted us because of the fact that when we played 45 minutes as opposed to full-blown hour and a half like they were going to get from Average White Band. But I'll never forget how good those guys were and how people took to them, not only with a song like Cut the Cake, but shoot, all the songs. And I tell you one of the other things, you want to see a great album cover. Their album cover that says Average White Band. The W is really a woman sitting there, and you see the rumpus roundness, and that made for the W. It was a brilliant use of, shall we say, a font that I've never seen again since that particular point in time. But I'll tell you what, the ultimate blue-eyed soul guy that I ever saw, and I got to talk to a couple, 2-3 times, was a guy who wound up, he's a preacher now. I think he's still working out of Miami. And in fact, one of his big songs was, "Going back to Miami, going back to my girl. Oh, I'm going back to Miami, going back to my girl. Oh." And then he'd go sing about going back to my. Everybody loved Wayne Cochran. Gave his, gave himself to the Lord and bless him for it. He, like me, did that, and you see nothing but positives coming your way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-hey, thank you, Lord. And I'll never forget seeing Wayne Cochran, blue-eyed soul brother. The beauty of Wayne Cochran in the days before he was saved, he didn't even care. He was at a place in Indianapolis called the Holyoke Club. And the Holyoke Club was, one of the big clubs in Indianapolis. Everybody knew it, but Wayne Cochran was coming. So everybody went out to see Wayne Cochran. So he's at the Holyoke, and I don't know what it was, but he was singing whatever song was going back to Miami, and he was on top of the bar. All right, this is the bar. This ain't like a concert hall. This is the bar. He's on top of the bar with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he was taking and pushing the bottle up with force up into the ceiling and cracking everything, every tile in the ceiling while singing Going Back to Miami. It was magnificent. Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders, because he would sing, CC Rider, oh, see what you have done now. You made your daddy's gone. I tell you what, man, Blue-Eyed Soul was a lifestyle for me. Unfortunately, my eyes are hazel, and they don't really have a music forum for that. But boy, if they did, I can only imagine the mashups that would occur in that particular sense. But just give me a historical perspective on the way it all came to the way it all is, all right? Yeah, you can call me professor if you want. Yeah, you can call me the educator. Yeah, you can call me teacher. But the main thing I want you to do is remember, no matter what you call me, you always dig in the smash.